Fawlty Towers is one of the finest and most enduring British sitcoms of the 20th century, the gold standard by which all of its successors are judged. With only a dozen episodes committed to film, it remains an astounding feat that the show manages to be as memorable and as iconic as it remains. And there have been many arguments as to why this show has managed to linger within the collective British consciousness for as long as it has. And yes, perhaps it is the efficiency and density of its comedy, or the wonderful performances by industry legends like John Cleese. But I believe that the element that makes Fawlty Towers unique is the special sense of spirit that drives the show. The idea of perseverance in the face of abject chaos. The idea that pushing forward and carrying on will ensure that an unstable universe will, hopefully, revert to normalcy once again. That being said, the world of Fawlty Towers is rarely one that exists in a state of calm or normalcy. The viewer may well enter an episode with the main action having not yet begun, but the brevity and efficiency of the writing ensures that such calm never lasts for long. The hotel's abrasive, embittered manager Basil Fawlty is continually positioned at the centre of the microcosm that is the titular hotel, and he inevitably finds himself continually fixed in the eye of the storm. Although it is only the hotel's maid Polly that ever really maintains any calm amongst the chaos. But the integral thing to understand about the comedy and the spirit at the root of Fawlty Towers is that Basil largely brings his own fate upon himself and his staff. Many of the series' hilarious disasters are directly caused by Basil's ineptitude, arrogance, and ignorance, and this is something that Basil characteristically finds himself oblivious to, simply believing that the world is conspiring against him, solely to frustrate and torment him. Of course, Basil can sometimes be dreadfully, almost impossibly unlucky. Sometimes it seems as if the whole universe really is conspiring against him. But, in the vast majority of these cases, he willfully manages to ensure that the situation ends up being even worse than it started out as. A good example of this would be the series' introductory episode, A Touch of Class. Basil, hoping to attract what he perceives as a higher class of clientele, puts an ad in a magazine and soon receives a visit from the Lord Melbury. Basil showers attention on the Lord, giving him preferential treatment over his other customers. But, inevitably, the man is not what he seems, and is revealed to be a con man, under investigation by a police officer disguised as a guest at the hotel. Basil, by this point, has given the man an obscene amount of money and plans to let him examine his priceless coin collection. The manner in which the plot progresses and the extremes that it eventually reaches borders on absurdity. The workings of an insane and indifferent universe. But we, as viewers, can never feel all that sorry for Basil, simply because he will always find a way to escalate the situation even further. But I don't think that Basil should be regarded as wholly unsympathetic, even if he can be haughty, violent, and even downright abusive to his guests and staff. I certainly wouldn't want to stay at his hotel, but he embodies a palpable sense of spirit and perseverance that embodies the show and gives it this really unique sense of identity. The staff at Fawlty Towers, Basil, Sybil, Manuel, and Polly, are all simply trying to make it to the end of the day, to overcome whatever task is immediately at hand. And I couldn't claim that the show really embodies a positive or negative philosophy about the world they inhabit, simply because there is absolutely no time for the characters to stop and consider it. What drives the plots and characters forward, then, is this unspoken, unwavering belief that the world will, eventually, be set right again as long as the characters endure. And this sensibility is special even amongst the show's contemporaries. Take Only Fools and Horses, for example, a show fueled by this strong sense of working class optimism, the promise that
this time next year, we'll be millionaires.
A pessimistic viewer could well dwell on the fact that Del Boy and Rodney had little chance of ever becoming millionaires, but to focus upon that would be miss the driving force at the centre of that show. Of course, they eventually did become millionaires, but viewers decided that the Trotters did deserve a win in the end. Fawlty Towers, then, and its characters have no such aspirations. But this is not fueled by a sense of pessimism or nihilism, but just sheer indifference. The staff simply realise that they must keep pushing forward, keep moving, until the world rights itself once again. And it's a very British sensibility for a sitcom that, whilst treating the concept with irreverence, also takes a great deal of pride in its British identity. An identity of determination, perseverance, and hope. And with the recent news of the series possibly being revived for a new generation of viewers, I think this aspect of the series that is, in my opinion, so integral to its identity should be remembered. Because it's a philosophy that is as relevant as ever, and a spirit that we all have to embody at times. The world may be messy, disordered, even hostile, but it must eventually right itself if we keep pushing forward.
It's all right, he's from Barcelona.